One of the best things you can do for yourself in this new year is to make sure you have enough drafting tools and adequate knowledge. Now, if you observe, I post more of tutorials on drafting cuttings, because cutting is the foundation of any successful sewing. When you have gotten the cutting properly, the sewing will not be a challenge because people spend more time learning how to sew, but they spend lesser time to learn how to cut. Cutting is the foundation to any successful sewing. So in this tutorial, I want to take you through this process on how to draft a simple male Jonkoso trouser. So this trouser will be a free one. Depends on how free I might wish it to be for my client. So I will go through the processes of explaining every tool I am using, how I am using them, and also how I am drafting. So here I have with me is my long ruler, and here is my hip curve for the natural waistline, and here I have is my design curve. This is what's called design curve, and here I have is my trouser curve. So these are the essential tools alongside your tape, right? And your chalk, and of course your scissors comes in next as well. So this is going to be beginner friendly for some people that this might be their first time to watch or see my video. Watch to the very end. I promise you will learn a lot. But for my returning viewers, you know how we do it on this channel. So I share tutorials for you guys free of charge. All you owe me now is to click the like button on this video. So just hit the like button. Like this video because this video is worth more than what people pay for in fashion schools. So here, I use my design curve to get my baseline. Now, the essence of using this is because this sets a standard baseline at the hem and also a standard at the side as well. By the virtue of its shape, I will get a perfect angle 90 here. So this angle 90 is forming or serving for my foundation of the whole drafting processes. So after which, I will lap this one on the baseline this way, and then I will continue the straight line from here as well. So it goes all through this way, and then I still push it up going further. Now this is now the time you bring in your stretch rule or stretch ruler. So this goes all through this way, goes all through this way as well. So now we have gotten a perfect baseline and a perfect sidelines, which will serve you for your basics that you need. After you have gotten that, now the next you will do is to mark extra 2 inches here. Now these 2 inches you are marking here will serve you for the folding or the hemming of this trouser, right? It must mark 2 inches here, which serves for the folding and the hemming of this trouser. So it goes all through this way. After you have done that, the next you will do is apply the person's trouser length. So which the person's length of trouser is subject to your measurement, right? I believe by now you must have watched my video on how to take appropriate male measurements. Now the length of trouser I have is 40, but bear in mind for trousers that are free, it's preferable they are longer. So you can make it to be 41 or 42 for those free knockabout trousers, right? So I will make mine to be 41. So the range of inch you add on the length is your choice. Depends on how you want it to be. So you also need to ask your customer how lengthy or long he wants it to be. Then you mark here. Here becomes your waistline. And after which, then you get your crotch. So the crotch is being gotten from the customer's hips over 4. So the hip we have is hip of 48. Divided by 4 is 12. So because it's a very free trouser, I will use 12 for my crotch depth. I will not minus or deduct any inch. Now, some persons will ask me, won't the band increase the crotch depth? The answer is no. Reasons being that by the time I slant this trouser by half an inch, the length has reduced by half. And by the time I sew the band again by half an inch, the band has also reduced by half again. That's 1 inch in total. Then the band is coming back to replace whatever that has been removed by the slanting and the sewing allowance of the band. So that is why my band measurement is not up to 1.5. All my trouser bands are at maximum 1/4, 1.5 maximum, right? But for my English trousers, I make them to be 1/4. After this now, the next you will do is to get your knee line. So you measure from the crotch depth to the ankle line, divide by 2. So here is 29. Divide by 2 is 14.5. Then you have to come up by 3, which is the standard. This gives me 11.5, right? Whatever you have this distance, divide by 2 and come up by 3. That's the standard you use in getting your knee line for your customer. So this has been working for me over the years, so I'm very sure of it. So after you have done this now, the next you will do now is to mark your hip of 48. But then there's something I do in this trouser. Because of how free the trouser will be, I used to add extra inch here, maybe half an inch or 1/4 inch, right? In order to give that trouser that little ease more on the hip region. So after that, you mark extra 2 inches. So what I added here was 1/4, that's 0.25, just to give it that extra allowance. After that, you get a total distance from here to here. The total answer is 14.5. To the middle is 7.25. So transfer the measurements all the way both to the knee line and to the ankle line. Transfer the measurements and then mark it all through there. Then with the help of your long ruler, you now connect them either with a disjointed line or with a straight line. Anyone you want, you connect them this way. After this now, the next is your knee. So the regular knee of my customer here is 17/18. But because of the nature of trouser I have, I'm making the knee to be 20. That's 10. So mark 5 inches apart from the center line. 5 inches apart from the center line this way. And the ankle is 16. That's 4. 8 rather. 4 inch apart from this other line as well. Right? So after you have gotten to this point, now the waist measurement we have is waist of 40. That we are going to use, sorry, 39. We are using 9¾ right there, and then add extra 1 inch to your waistline circumference. So these are the basic lines you need to drop as you are drafting your trouser. Now the next here we are going to see is on the lines connection. So do well to also watch to this very point. So if you have watched this very point, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up in this video, like and share, drop your comments and tell me where you're watching from, drop a timestamp, tell me the date you are watching this video so that I will know when my fans are coming in to learn from me. So here we are going to extend this line on the ankle to come up to a certain measurement this way, and then extend this one as well. It goes all through this way as well. It comes up all through to this very point. And you see how the line is straight enough, right? And after which, connect the 1 inch you have to your hip line, the actual hip measurement, the 1 inch on the waist, connect in this form, right? And then after that, you bring your hip curve, then make a curvy connection. Please observe how I use my hip curve. I don't use it at once. If you make at once, the line here will be bulging inwards, which will reduce the body measurement of the trouser. So what I do is I push out the body area this way and use the lesser curvy area to do my first connection from the hip value to the knee line. It goes all through this way, right? And after I have done that, I will also come here, transfer it this way, carefully make sure it's blending properly. It must blend properly from here to this very point. This is the connection. See how synchronized and smooth it is. Then for the trouser as well, for the other side as well, connect from here as well to this knee line and push it up a bit this way, making sure that it's pointing towards the hip point there. And when you go halfway, you turn it over the other way around and make here to be a bit bulging, right? This other way around. You see the connections are very perfect. Then after this now, the next you do is to use your hip curve, your trouser curve, place this way. Usually we do mark extra 2 inches here for the hip point. You know, this is a crotch depth and the hip is situated 2 inches above the crotch depth, but then we're not going to mark 2 inches right there. With the help of this, it automatically gives you the exact placement of the hip measurement you want. So this comes handy. So you just make a connection that goes all through this way, and this is the perfect curve that we all need at that point. Now the next here is the pocket. You mark pocket inch, which is 7.5 or 7 inches minimum this way, and then here as well you mark 2.5. Now because of this trouser is back elastic and front rope, now you will slant, but in most cases as well I slant by half an inch, 0.5, and then I use my hip curve and slant it a bit across the midpoint of the trouser, but it will not get to the pocket notching measurement. So this is basically the front panel or the front bodies or bodies of this particular trouser. So I will do well to cut it and also show you as well how the back panel will be drafted, because the back panel will have extra alterations I will do to make it sit properly. Remember this year I told us that I will be bringing on new pattern of trouser drafting that will sit properly on our customer. So this tutorial is for everybody. Do well to watch the very end. Right, so now we have seen how the front panel was drafted and cut. It's now time for us to see the back panel. Now, because of fabric availability, right, so I will go with the regular way we draft, but then just be watching out for my next clip on trouser drafting. I will introduce you all to the new method for professionals. But please, before you try out the new method, make sure you have mastered this one first, because that one is like an advanced tutorial on trouser making or drafting. So you really need the basic knowledge, which is the regular straight line method or this perfect fit method I do use. So don't jump the procedures or jump anything at all. So make sure you make a time to watch these videos before you try out the new method. Now, the only thing here I will introduce to you is the rightful way to connect your back crotch depth. Now, I know in my other videos I have been making, I do bring the line to go straight this way. Like I make the line to come straight this way. It's not bad, but then there is a better way to do this because the back hip um, the back crotch depth and the front crotch depth are not the same. The back crotch depth is way a bit longer or deeper than the front, right? So what do we do now? We are going to drop this crotch with this same curve. The curve that is being seen coming from the front crotch will continue to the back region. So it goes all through this way. So if you observe, the difference here is almost 1 inch. It's just 1 inch, not even almost, just 1 inch. So you can just basically mark 1 inch down from here and then make a curvy connection this way. So the curve should go all through this way, right? It should be kind of a continuation of what you are seeing right there and not like an equal curvy, whatever. This is just one thing you need to adopt in this new year. So this is the secret that most people will not teach you. Even if in fashion schools, they won't teach you this. But right here on my channel, I am showing you these things free of charge. Then on the back crotch, on my own, I do add extra half an inch. That's 2.5. You can still use 2 inches. But I feel you need to be, making some additions more on the crotch area. This is where most people do have issues. And then this, you keep on adding 2 inches extra on all of this piece. And after that, connect them in twos. Connect the first 2.5, which was on the crotch, to the second mark of 2 inches. From the second mark, connect to the third. From the third, connect to the fourth. From the fourth, connect to the fifth or the last, depending on how many you marked. So this is the crotch area. Then coming to the back waist point, remember this is back elastic and front rope. So here at the back, you mark 1.5 inch at the back. From here, you mark 2 inches as well. Then you use your trouser curve, connect them gently, connect them in this form. It goes all through this way, and connect this as well from here to this very point. Also bear in mind that the back panel, you have to raise it by 4 inches. Now this 4 inches you're raising it is for the back elastic, like the back band rather. The back band, not elastic, the back band has to be cut together with the front panel. So you have to raise this by 4 inches so that you don't need to cut the back band anymore. It's already the front band that you will cut. So having done that, so that means the back area is longer by 4 inches, right? Then you cut out this in this form. So you carefully cut out this in this form. And then you prepare the pocket facings and everything you need from the pieces coming out. So you trim out the excess here. If you don't have excess, you trim it out from here to the very point, and then from here as well, the crotch area, you carefully cut it out. You carefully cut it out, cut it all through to this very point. You cut here, then you bring the zip fly or flap this way. So these measurements, I have taught it in my previous videos, but for the first timers, the measurement of this is 2.5 to 3 inches width at the length of 9 to 11 inches, right? Depends on the customer's crotch depth that you have. Why the pocket facing is 4 inches width by the length of 9 to 11 as well, right? So this is just the little secrets you might be having. So here you also cut from here as well. Now, like I said, I'm just teaching you this from my deepest part of heart. So the only thing you do for me is to like this video. Please like this video, share, give me a thumbs up, drop your comment, ask your question, because it's by the time you comment, share, and ask your questions that I will know that you are following up with this tutorial. But if you don't ask questions or tell me how impactful this video is, I will feel that I am not doing enough to impact knowledge on us. Please do me a favor by liking this video. I want this video to reach, if possible, 1 million views, 1,000 likes. It's possible, right? I trust you guys, because in this 2026, we are working with metrics, we are working with numbers, we are working with figures. So I want our figures to be large enough or to be big enough. So at this point here, you slit the trouser panel this way. You slit it to an extent this way. And after that, you can now trim out the pieces from this point all through this way. So the front and back panel has been drafted. Now the next you will do now is to drop chalks to differentiate the front and back. So just drop your chalks this way, drop your chalks this way as well. So this is it. Now the next you would also do here is the band, right? No, I told you guys that you only cut the front band. So you will just cut the front band, and the front band will come in line with your customer's waist circumference, the front panel. Remember that the front panel we had extra, we marked 9¾ right? So you mark what you know that is longer than the value you marked on the band. So this is 16, which is very much okay. So we are going to mark the band to be 4.5 inches width. 4.5 inches width. That is the measurement we are going to use to work our band. Then after you have done that, now this is the part where most people will be looking at for how do we sew this trouser, how do we go about the sewing tutorial, how do we get to know the components of couple and everything. So for you to get the sewing tutorial, you just have one thing to do for me. Once you have finished watching this video, comment that you have finished watching it, so that I will know those that will watch the very end. And when you comment, I will send you a link in your comment section so that you will click it and have access to this sewing tutorial. I will not just post it without you watching this one, because people jump tutorials and jump knowledge. So this is the front band. So we are done with the cutting of this outfit. So the next video you will see will be on the sewing tutorial. That's if you watch the very end and comment. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next one. Bye bye for now.